Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. This is Michael Lau from FUmoney.com. We have been getting a lot of questions about online business and where to get started in making your FU money. This is why we're extremely excited today because we will be bringing on our mentor, Dan Locke, to answer your questions and talk to you about the FU money formula. Thank you for joining us, Dan.
Well, Michael, you're welcome. And a lot of people always ask me the question who have read my book, F Your Money, or been exposed to my work. Dan, what business should I get into? How can I quit my job? How do I get out of the rat race? Or what's the first step I should take? What niche should I get into? So I think this class, this webinar, this video, I want to take a little bit of time to answer those questions, as well as to share with you my FU Money formula. This way, any opportunity that comes up, then you can look at this formula and see, oh, does that make sense? Does that fit with some of the criteria that I've set out when I look at any projects, any ventures I want to get involved with? So I think for the people who are watching this, I think they'll find this very beneficial.
Awesome. Let's get into it.
So with the FU Money formula, it's pretty simple. There are three parts to it, and I'll go through each one in depth. So the first part of the formula is platform plus growing demand plus value times automation plus scalability times controllable leverage equals FU Money, aka live life on your own terms. Now, I know that sounds like almost like an equation remind you of college or high school. I'll break it down for you. So first, let's talk about platform and growing demand plus value. Now, what do I mean by a platform? Here's what I believe. You don't just want to start a business from scratch because the chances of failing is so high. It's probably the statistics, 95% of small business fail in the first 5 years, and the 5% that survive, they don't last another 5 years. So most small businesses don't survive. So starting something from scratch, from my point of view, when it comes to making FU money, it's going to be very, very difficult. Meaning, I'm not a very big proponent of, well, let's create a product from scratch. I have this great idea, and I want to do this, and or something comes up in your mind and you think, well, let's just do that because you like it. I don't buy so much into that. I want to plug into an existing platform meaning there's already an audience in place, and I'll show you exactly why in a minute. But there's an audience in place that I don't have to create that audience from scratch. I prefer to tap into the next part of it, a growing demand. An existing demand, people are already buying that, people already are seeking that out. I just have to position myself in front of that, give them an option to buy what my product services are, versus trying to create a whole new market. Now, are there people making a lot of money through a brand new market, such as like Steve Jobs with the iPhone and things like that? Yes, but for most people, we are no Steve Jobs. I'm no Steve Jobs. For most people, the shortcut, more certain way, the more surefire way to get to that FU money is to tap into growing demand. That that the demand is going to be growing in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years. It's not going away. It's not just a temporary trend. So is it trending? That's the keyword. Plus value. Now, what do I mean by that? So value, I'm talking about, are we delivering something unique in the marketplace? Unique value. Because the more value you deliver, the more money you're going to make. I always tell people, money earned is nothing more than a product of value creation, a byproduct of value creation. Means the more people you serve, the more value you deliver, the more money you're going to make. I make a lot of money because I serve a lot of people and I deliver a lot of value to a lot of people. So think in terms of those three things. Now, platform, growing demand, value. Now, Michael, let me ask you the question. So what are some of the things that people want to do that don't fit this criteria? So some of the things that you might see, or some of the things that you've tried before that might have failed.
Well, I think definitely going into and not thinking long term. I have to go into it and then for a long period of time and seeing success that way rather than just going in and just getting out. Kind of building a long-term asset.
And that's why people have this kind of shiny object syndrome, that they jump from one thing to another. Oh, here's an opportunity. Here's a groundbreaking opportunity. Here's a whatever opportunity of the week or of the month. And some guy is making money doing that. But if you actually sit down and you calm down and you think about it and think it through, and once you learn the entire formula, you run it through the formula, you will eliminate 99% of shit that you're working on, because it makes no sense. It doesn't fit this criteria. Now, are there people making money doing those things? Yes. But I'm saying this is the path of least resistant. I'm saying go through this and follow this formula. Your life will be easier. So let me give you an example. Let me give you some different examples of like platform growing demand value. An example, Amazon is a platform. It's a massive platform, in fact. So it's a marketplace of what? Buyer plus seller, right?
Right.
And you have the growing demand. Right now, as we speak, right now, 244 million active users. They probably have close to 300 million credit cards on file. So it's a platform. Buyers are already there. They are buying stuff, right? And in revenue, it's over in 2014, over 88, almost $90 billion in revenue. It's a big piece of pie. So is it a platform? Yes. Not just a platform, also a trusted platform. What does that mean? For someone who goes to your website who don't know who you are, for them to enter the credit card, it's going to be difficult. Because I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, you might take my money and run. But Amazon is a trusted platform. In fact, people trust Amazon so much, we have our credit cards on file. When we buy stuff, we don't even need to enter a credit card. What do we do, Michael?
We just put it in and just buy with one click.
One click button. And we trust the platform so much that we have the credit cards on file. Just, hey, you know what? Just bill me. I'd like to buy this, just bill me. So you're tapping into that. Revenue, it's growing demand. So that's an example, a very unique value. People go to buy. So that's an example. So a platform. Let me give you another example. So let's say eBay is another platform. Again, a trusted platform. Your buyer plus you have a seller. It's growing demand. You have 150 million active users. Revenue in 2013 is 16 billion. Now, you might be thinking, but eBay, is maybe not as popular as today compared to, let's say, a few years ago. Yes. However, I'm talking about getting started, getting into the game, making your first dollar, making your first $100, making your first $1,000 on the internet. If you have stuff in your garage, if you have stuff that you don't want to use, or whatever, that, hey, eBay is a way to get in the game. And then later on, you can find other products to sell and things like that. There are people right now, thousands and thousands of people plugging into the eBay platform, making a full-time living, making a very good living, actually, on eBay. So that's another form of platform that you can leverage. Let me give you another example besides eBay. Apple Store. How many of you actually have an iPhone? We all do. I think most of us do, or Androids. So marketplace, again, Apple Store is what? Developer plus end user. Now, Michael, is it a big marketplace?
It's huge.
Is it growing demand?
Definitely. Everyone has iPhones now, like smartphones and everything. And I think the growing demand is going to be even higher as time progresses.
Yes.
We're going to be going to mobile.
So you can see, so over 575 million users in 2013 and 2014 revenue, just for the developers for the App Store in 2014, over $10 billion that they generate to all various developers. We've played games like Angry Bird and those type, made millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's a trusted platform. How much do we trust Apple? Again, we trust them enough. We also have a credit card on file. That when we want to buy an app, we just enter our password and bam, done. So if you want to start something, all those are examples of platforms that you could tap into. Not just limited to these. There are other types of platform. Example, even ClickBank is a form of platform. ClickBank.com if you want to sell digital products. That's another type of platform. Tapping into something that a brand, a platform that people already trust. And it's growing demand. And makes people easier to buy. And when you create products and services and you fulfill the need in those marketplaces, then it's easy for you to make money. Does that make sense?
That's correct. That makes sense. So I would add a question actually.
Hmm.
So would you recommend people going into kind of two or more of these platforms, or just focusing on one and dominating?
No, just focus on one because one of them is enough.
Mm,
Again, high performance people, this I learned from my mentor, we focus on the field, not the many. Not jumping into, oh yeah, I hate it when people say, oh, I do a little bit of, I do app development, I do stuff on Amazon, I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Well, a jack of all trades, a master of none.
mm.
It takes time to master just one platform, i.e. Amazon, i.e. App Store, i.e. eBay. They all could do very well if you pick that one thing and master it. Now, but why do people do something and they feel like the need to diversify? Why is that though?
I think it's because a lot of people think multiple streams of income, but they think of it in terms of different businesses rather than
Yes.
inside the business.
Yes. So it's the ideal thing to do is for most people. Of course, I have multiple streams of income from different businesses, but I've also been doing this for many, many years. But for most people watching this video, it's better to have, first of all, you got to have that one big stream of income first. Forget about everything else.
Mm.
You develop that one big stream of income, it's consistent, it's predictable, it's working. Then you can diversify within that platform. So let's say you're selling on Amazon and you have one product that's kind of working, that's making you good money. Now you say, well, I wonder, let's do another product, maybe similar product, serving the same kind of niche. Let's do that instead. And then two, three, five, because now you've done it once. The second time would be easier. The third time will even be easier. And then it could be the fourth, fifth, or maybe the 10th product, who knows what. But then that product, you just hit it out of the park. That you've got something that is wow, like this is now a massive cash flow generator. And that's awesome because you also master the platform. So focus on one, not the many, just one.
So would you say after you master one platform, then you kind of move on to another platform?
You could, or maybe you don't. Maybe you could. For some people, you're people making millions of dollars just with one platform.
Mm.
Don't feel like there's a need always to diversify. And Warren Buffett said it best. It's like people talk about diversify. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Well, what Buffett said is you want to put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket very closely.
Oh.
So for most people, again, watching this, I suggest put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket very closely.
Mm.
And just master that one thing and do that extremely well. Learn all the ins and outs about whatever platform you choose. Because look at all these platforms, even Amazon, even App Store, eBay, and Michael, you experienced this recently with the Kindle publishing business.
That's correct.
Even within the platform, it changes.
Yeah, it's always changing.
Yeah, things change and need to learn new strategies. You need to be able to adapt to the situation. So even within that, there's a lot going on. So to get to mastery, to keep the mastery, that alone is requires a lot of effort. So then why diversify? Unless you get to the point you're so good, you've got a team, you've got everything working, then fine. You want to tap into something else, just like myself, invest in different ventures. And you know what? He's a project. Maybe I don't know a ton about app, but I think that it's got potential. Put a bit of money into it. Bring in my little bit of expertise. It's play money.
Mm.
I don't care so much if it succeeds or not, but it's something that I could test, and that's okay. But for most people, if you do too many things at the same time when you're starting out, then it's just like that's why you have some people, they have a lot of these ventures, but they make very little money from each venture. They make $100 from here, $500 from here, a couple grand from here. But because they're not channeling all the energy into the one thing, I would much rather you have one thing that making you 5, 10,000, 20,000 a month than having 50 things that making you a little bit of each.
So I guess the key takeaway from here would be having the focus.
Focus, number one, focus. It's like I say, the FU money, F stands for focus.
Mm.
It truly stands for focus, and people cannot focus. The theme of my book, and I always talk about this, is laser beam focus. So that's another example. And I talk about the biggest reason why business fail is because they can't find enough customers and make transaction with them before money runs out. So when your money runs out, you run out of cash, your business is finished. So then for most people, for any business actually, the biggest cost is always the initial customer acquisition cost. So if you start something small on your own website, you drive traffic to it, you don't have a brand, people don't know who you are, you're not tapping into an existing demand, whatever you're selling is not on trend, it's gonna be an uphill battle. But in this case, we're tapping into a platform already has millions and millions and millions of customers with credit cards on files. So we just have to position ourselves in front of them and make transaction with them. So then it's easier to get that first sale, the second sale, and that 10 sale, the 100 sale, get the cash flow coming in so we could grow. I mean, I always believe, don't focus on so much, oh, I'm going to do this business, I'm going to start this business, and I'm going to focus on how much fucking money I'm going to make. No, when I get into a business, I always focus on, well, how long can I survive? And how much money could I afford to lose? It's a very different mindset. It's not like it's like a metaphor I use for swimming. I don't think in terms of let's just swim out to the ocean and see how far I could go. That's not how I think in business. I think in terms of, okay, let's see how far I could go, but also have enough energy to return back to the land so I don't die. I don't get eaten by a shark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a very different mindset. So I'm very conservative from that point of view, from that perspective.
And is it important to take calculated risks in terms of therefore?
People always associate entrepreneurs, so we take big risk and this and that, and people see some of the things I've done in my career, they think I take big risk, and I did, and I've been close to bankruptcy twice in my career. Not fun, I can tell you that, because I took on too much risk. Nowadays, I tell everyone, I tell you guys, all my mentees, I don't want a fucking challenge. I don't want people come to me, hey, Dan, I've got this idea, I've got this product. Nobody's ever done this before. It's never been done. It's going to be a challenge, and it's, we're going to educate people. We're going to, create something nobody's ever created in this marketplace, in this space. I said, no, thanks. I'm not looking for a challenge. I don't want a challenge. I want to pick a business where I know if I fuck up 50% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm going to make money, it's going to succeed. It's like if I'm going to go into boxing, I don't want to fight Mike Tyson. That's what people think. I want to fight Mike Tyson. I'm going to beat Mike Tyson. I'm going to be heavyweight champion. I don't want to fight Mike Tyson. I want to go into the ring. I want to fight a 10-year-old kid.
Oh.
I want to go into the ring where I can just push the kid and he would just fall over and I win the championship. I'm not saying it's a metaphor. I'm not saying, of course, I love kids. But I don't want a challenge in the ring. I don't want a challenge in the business world, because business is tough enough. There's so many variables, so many things that could go wrong. I don't want any of that. I want to know if I fucked up, I'm wrong 90% of the time, the business will survive. It will still be here. It will still make some money.
Oh, and would you say this is the importance of tapping into a good platform, because
absolutely
very long term?
Yes, and it dramatically reduces the chances of failure. And the great thing about these submarkets and the tapping into existing platform, what I touched upon, it's they already have people completing transactions. iTunes, 575 million credit cards. Amazon, hundreds of millions of credit cards. Right? eBay, 112 million credit cards on file. That's good. People already trust them. I just have to sell on those platforms with better marketing, better positioning, better product, better strategy. Then I'm in the game. And then the next part of the formula, part 2. So now we have a platform. We plug into one of these platforms, and people are buying into it, and we've got a product. The next part of the formula now we've got to consider, because we want to make our FU money. It's not just how much money you make. Write this down. It's how you make the money. Not just how much money you make, it's how you make the money. So then the automation and scalability comes into play. So automation, what am I talking about? I'm talking about building a team. I'm talking about bringing in a partner that takes over the daily operations. I'm talking about using software or creating software, buying software to automate the day-to-day task and growth and outsourcing tasks to freelancers and contractors. So automation, once you've got something that's working, is selling well, you're getting sales is coming in. Okay, so how can we automate this? How can we automate this business? How can we automate different aspects of the business? Okay, and then you have, of course, scalability. How do you, once you automate it, now you can scale. Now you can say, okay, maybe I want to build a back end. Maybe I want to sell more to this existing marketplace. Maybe I want to just ramp up the volume. Example, you're selling a product, you're manufacturing from China, let's say through Amazon, and now I want to, instead of buying 1,000, 2,000 units, we're going to scale it up. We're going to buy 10,000 units. We're going to buy 20,000 units. And when you do that, your cost also goes dramatically way down. It reduces the cost of production. And now you got something that works, and that's how you scale your business. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I had a question. So why is automation and scalability crucial to success in the long term?
Because I have seen people who are plugging into the platform, or they are selling whatever products they're selling, and they're making money. But at the end of the day, FU money is a metaphor for freedom.
Mm.
So what we're after at the end is freedom. It's lifestyle. So you could be making money and you could be selling well, but if you don't automate it, you don't make it scalable, then you actually have no freedom. So you're making money, but doesn't mean you have freedom. Just like I have friends who are high-paid lawyers or high-paid accountants or high-paid whatever professional self-employed type, right?
Mm.
They're making very good money by most people's standard, but they don't live life on their own terms. They're dictated by their clients, dictated by how the company wants them to operate. They don't have scalability. Of course, they don't have automation either. And so automation, scalability, that's what we're after. And that's what gives you the freedom. So make sure you're not in a prison. You're not building a business, then kind of trap yourself into it. It's not like that at all.
Oh, so how long would you say it would take a business to get to the stage of automation?
Once you have something that works, once you have the platform, once you have the product, once it's selling well, then kind of follow this, building a team, bring in a partner, have someone focus on the day-to-day, bring in a virtual assistant, outsource different tasks that are lower value. I talk a lot about this in my book. It's those type of tasks. Then you focus on the big stuff. Maybe introducing a new product, maybe finding a need within their business that's not being fulfilled, maybe negotiating a deal with your supplier, that type of thing. You focus on bigger, higher dollar value tasks. It's not so much what you do, but what you focus on.
Mm-hmm.
You focus on automation, you focus on scalability. Not just, don't be blinded by, I just want to make more money.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
And this ties into the freedom as well.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. It's why we're doing this.
And would you say, because a lot of people, they go into a platform and they don't master it and they start outsourcing. So would you say that's a huge mistake?
Huge mistake, because you cannot outsource, you cannot delegate something that doesn't work.
Mm.
So unless the thing it's kind of spitting off cash and is making a lot of money, now you have the capital to outsource, number one. Also to outsource properly, not just necessarily hire people from, less qualified countries. You can hire good people. I always say hire the best, only cry once. so hire the best, only cry once. Pay the people what they deserve and pay them well, and you have good people working with you. But you need something that's working, that's making you money, paying yourself, paying your team, paying for the products, gives you capital for additional marketing, for scalability. Now you can outsource. Don't automate. Why would you automate something that doesn't work? It makes no sense. It still doesn't work.
And that's very true. And
having scalability means that having a business with no growth problems. And this is key, where basically when you turn up the heat on what you see and how much you sell at any time you want. So example would be, let's say for Kindle, what you do, Michael, is totally scalable, because once you create the book, you're selling on Kindle, it doesn't matter if you sell one copy, it doesn't matter if you sell 10,000 copies. Your work of the deliverable, the delivery is the same.
Oh.
So it's totally scalable. It's not like necessary that, oh, you gotta make another 10,000 of these books. It's not like that. You made it once and people download it and you serve a lot of people. So it's absolutely scalable.
Mm.
So that's an example of that. So when things are easy to scale, then it's also easier to automate.
Oh.
Maybe share your example of like how you do your Kindle business, how you automate and how you scale.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. So yes, Kindle is a very good platform to scale a business or having a business that's a Kindle business. And it's very easy to scale because, for example, you make one book and then, as Dan said, you could sell as many copies as you can or other people will buy, and then you don't have to have inventory. And for me, I have a portfolio of books that sell day in and day out. And the way I automate the business is having VAs that help me with the daily tasks and all the publishing and everything, so I don't have to worry about that. So I can focus on the key to the business, think about the strategy long term.
Yeah, which in this case is to create even more ebooks, adding more streams of income, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So now for those who are watching this video, I don't want you to get the impression of, oh, Michael's doing Kindle, then I should do Kindle. That's not what the fuck I'm saying. I'm saying it is an example. Because a lot of people sometimes they have no creativity. They think they're watching this and so do this, I should do that. So and so makes money doing this and I should jump into that. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that that's why I give different examples, and I want to give you a criteria, not an opportunity, because you can analyze and dissect and think through different opportunity yourself. Not necessarily this opportunity. So and so making a lot of money doing that, then does that mean that you should do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But you got to think independently of what works for you. Take your own experience, your own strength, all that into considerations, and then you pick a business that makes sense for you, that resonates with who you are, that you believe in. So just because Michael makes money with Kindle doesn't mean you should do it, and also doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, don't do it just because you think, oh, this is an easy route and so is making money doing it, and I should jump into that. That's an opportunity seeker mindset, and that's not what you want, and that's not what creates wealth.
And so would you say that having a passion in the business you go into is very important?
Passion is absolutely key because it's going to be tough. Business is tough. Okay, getting a job is easy. It's way easier. At the end of 30 days, you're going to get a paycheck. You're going to get paid. Business is tough. Tough as hell. That's why we want to make it a little bit easier, plug in the existing platform, and you following this formula. But business is tough enough that you want to avoid as many mistakes as possible. Doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. You will. I guarantee you that. But it's tough. And that's why you want to focus as well, to master that one thing, because it's tough. It's not easy. And some people sometimes they get into business. Michael, he's the worst reason to start a business. You don't like your job, or you don't have enough money. The worst time to start a business is when you have no money. People have been brainwashed by the internet, all the fucking gurus that says that, oh yeah, you don't need money, you don't need this, you don't need a brain, you don't need credit, anybody can make a fortune on the internet. Yeah, there are people who make a fortune on the internet without any of those things. But if you think of it as a business, when you are coming from a place of being very neediness, and a place of being very desperate, then when you start a business, it might take you 3 months to make money. It might take you 3 years to make money. Depends on your skill, depends on your mindset, depends on your everything, your background. But when you're coming from a place where you have no money, you got to make money like tomorrow, you will not be able to make wise business decisions. You just won't. you're not coming from that place of strength. So I always say, oh, Dan, I've got no money. What should that business I should start in? I say, get a fucking job. Get some income coming in first. Just like Michael. Michael, right now, you are building your Kindle business, and it's doing quite well. Guess what, Michael? You still have a job, right?
That's true. I still have a job at a restaurant.
That's what I mean. So it's not glamorous, but that's the smart thing to do. Don't be brainwashed by the stories. Oh, people, I quit my job, I start my business, and now I'm very successful. Yes, you have those stories, but I can tell you way more stories when people kind of quit their job and just jump into this. And no, don't do that. Don't be the entrepreneur like that you read from newspapers and this. It sounds good in theory. I would much prefer you become it's more like a chicken entrepreneur. Be paranoid. Like, you know what? My business might not make money in 6 months. How am I going to provide for my family? Or it might not make money in a year. It might not make money in 5 years. Who the hell knows? So you don't know. So don't even have the expectation that, I'm going to quit my job. It's like people who read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's book.
Oh, yes.
And they learn about passive income, and they go out there and they do real estate, and they start the business, and they think they're going to be financially independent in like 1 year or 6 months. And they risk everything they have. That's not smart. Do it on the side. Do it in the evening. Do it when you get off work. Build it steadily, nice and steady. And then when even your income far exceeds your job, still keep that job. Still keep that job. I would say at least until your business is making 2 to 3 times more of what you're making from your job, as well as you have at least 6 months to a year of savings of your monthly expense. Then you can think about you can quit your job. I don't want you to do crazy stuff and say, Dan asked me to quit my job and start my own thing. That's not what I said. That's nice. And last thing I want is you're not able to pay the bills and not provide for a family. Don't believe in that bullshit. Nice and steady. Nice and steady. Be conservative. Be a chicken entrepreneur. Be paranoid. Be thinking about what could go wrong. Be thinking about what if it doesn't work. Well, you still have a safety net. That's the way I see it. So to generate massive passive income, to kind of recap this, first, you want to realize you're already wealthy. Now, what do I mean by that? Meaning you want to come from a place of gratitude. With part of the FU Money toolkit, you be able to listen to my audio, the gratitude exercise, and it's what I go through every single morning. You want to have that sense of wealth, because wealth is a state of mind. It's not how much money is in your bank account. So really realize if you're in North America, you're in a developed country, you're already wealthy compared to the third world countries. Your worst nightmare right now, today, could be someone's ultimate fantasy in a third world country. Just go visit China, go visit India, in certain cities, and you see you're already wealthy, coming from that place of abundance, coming from that place of gratitude. That's number one. And then number two, find a market within a platform and provide true value, real value in the marketplace. Sell good stuff, sell good product. Sounds so simple, I know, but creating wealth is not difficult. It's different, but it's not difficult. And that builds you a sustainable, profitable, and purpose-driven business. Once that happens, you find ways to leverage yourself through automation and scale up, and this evolves, and then your business into an asset. It could be a sellable asset. It's an income-producing asset. Now you got something that works. You're not jumping from one thing to the next. You don't have the shiny object syndrome. Anything you want to get involved with, you run through this almost a checklist, and then well, a lot of opportunities you may be involved right now, you shouldn't even do.
Wow, this is very eye-opening, and I got a lot of this personally, and I think many of the people watching this video will be implementing it into their own lives.
Yeah, and just keep staying plugged in. I think that's key. Keep reading the blog, go to fumoney.com, and Robert and Michael, they set up this blog for you. to share with you what they are working on and what's working and what's not working. And from time to time, I would jump in and just to help them out and coach them, and you'll see how they grow and how to almost be someone learning and also observing their journey to making their FU money. I think that's very, very powerful.
And I'd just like to thank you, Dan, for sharing with us this priceless knowledge and the FU money formula. And thank you for tuning in, everyone. And we will talk to you soon. Have a good one.